Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. So in today's video I want to talk you through what I'm taking in my not so zero waste hospital bag during this pandemic. So I'm currently 36 weeks pregnant and I've packed my hospital bag ready to go into labour at any time really from next week. So I wanted to be so zero waste with this, and I made myself reusable cloth versions of everything, and I bought second-hand reusable cloth versions of everything, and I was planning to be sort of so organised and zero waste. But I have been advised that due to this virus they are really against taking reusable cloth products into the hospital during this time. Because when you bring it home you're going to need to wash it and get rid of any trace of the virus that it might have picked up while you were in the hospital. So they're really recommending to use disposable products in the hospital at this time, which is very disappointing as I put all this effort in to sourcing and making all of the things that I would need totally zero waste. But I understand why they're saying this, and so what I've decided to do is to buy small quantities as possible of the disposable products, and I have groups where I can donate to other mothers the disposable products that I don't end up using. So I'll only take what I really need to the hospital of the disposable items, and what's left in the packets will go to people who would otherwise have bought their own full packets of disposable items, so they won't go to waste. But it is disappointing. It's not what I wanted to do, but it's what I've been advised to do by the healthcare professionals at this time. And things are so crazy right now, I'm just going to do whatever I'm asked to do. The other disappointingly non-zero waste thing is that luckily for me, because my husband is also my carer, he is going to be allowed to stay with me in the hospital for the duration of the birth. As my birth partner and my carer. Other women are not, unfortunately, being so fortunate in that their partners are only allowed to be with them during active labour. They're not allowed to stay on the wards, they're not allowed to have multiple birth partners and things. I'm not allowed multiple birth partners either, but I only wanted my husband anyway. So it's all a bit chaotic at the moment, but because he is going to be able to stay with me, but the facilities at the hospital are not going to be there for him to use. So normally there's a cafe at the hospital where partners can go and get food. Normally there's a kitchen at the hospital where partners can go and prepare food for themselves to eat during the time that they're there in the hospital. I, as a patient who's actually booked in at the hospital, will be fed, but my partner, who isn't a patient, won't be fed. So he's going to have to fend for himself, and he's not going to be able to leave the hospital to go and get anything. We're going to have to take what we need with us. And as we don't know when this is going to happen, making sandwiches and things may not be a possibility at the time. So in order to be prepared and put my mind at rest, we have bought pre-packaged food items to put in the hospital bag so that he will have something to eat when we're there. The only real option that he'll have when he's there is to buy pre-packaged food from the vending machine anyway, so we might as well get it cheaper from the supermarket and take it with us. So that's what we're going to do. He will try and make some sandwiches or something if there's an opportunity to do that once my contractions start, before we have to rush into the hospital. Our ability to get supplies of various foodstuffs is still limited because of the virus and because of people's crazy shopping habits during this lockdown. So I don't know what there'll be in the house for him to forage and prepare a packed lunch from at the time, but he will at least have some food items pre-packed in the hospital bag, so hopefully he won't starve. My family are all long labourers, so this could go on for days, so he's going to need food to eat over those days. So unfortunately several of the zero waste things I wanted to do I haven't been able to do. So this hospital bag is really going to be just a zero waste fail, but that's life, and this pandemic has made everything so different and so crazy. We just have to accept the limitations of what we can and cannot do at the moment and move on. So I'm just grateful that we live in a first world country and that we get to go to hospital to have the baby and be in such great hands and in such great care, and that if anything does, happen during the labour and delivery, that it will be taken care of and that there are professionals there who know what they're doing. So in the grand scheme of things, the ability to do it zero waste is really a luxury, not a need to have. So unfortunately it's something that's just going to have to go by the wayside. So I'm going to show you what I am taking in my hospital bag. We'll go through bag by bag and I'll show you what things we are taking. So the first thing I'm taking, I got a lovely gift box from a friend of mine, which was a Yummy Mummy gift box, which was all the things that you'll need for your hospital bag. And one of the things in it was this gorgeous fluffy white toweling robe that has Mummy and a little heart embroidered on it in silver thread. So I'm going to be taking this, which serves two functions. One, it's a towel, and two, it's a dressing gown. And it's a dressing gown, so I'll be able to open it and nurse with it on. I only wear pyjamas, so I'm going to want to have trousers on. I've got very loose trousers, don't worry about them being tight fitting or anything, but I would normally wear a big long sleeved top with those, which is not going to be suitable for nursing in. So I've decided to take a little tank top that I can put on over my crop top nursing bra, and then I can put the dressing gown on if I get cold and my arms need to be covered and things. So it serves multiple functions and it's lovely, and I got it as a gift. Next up, I've got these slippers that I made in a previous video, which you can see here on my channel. I'll put a link to that above. So I need slippers to wear during the hospital, and I wanted slip-on ones that I could easily get without having to reach my feet, because I cannot reach my feet anymore. So I made myself a little pair of some little slippers to wear in the hospital. If I get a chance, I'm going to glue gun some little dots onto the bottom so that they've got a bit of anti-slip grip on them, but they're good because they fold down so small. As space is at a premium in my hospital bag. Next up, I've got a toiletries bag, which has basically got all of the odds and ends in it. So this was also in the Yummy Mummy gift box. I don't know where that was from. It was a gift that was given to me by my friend. It arrived in the post and James and I didn't know what it was or who it was from. We managed to find out from the company that produced it, who'd actually bought it for us, and thank them. But it was a bit of a surreal moment. So it was a very nice box though. So I've got a phone charger that will work for both mine and my husband's phones. I've also got a mum-to-be lollipop that came in the gift box, so that's going to be in there for a bit of a sugar rush snack for me if I want it during labour or after labour, and I just need to get my blood sugar back up. I've also got some body wash and lip balm that came in the gift set, so they're a sort of ideal little size to have in there anyway, so I'm going to use them and keep them. And then I've also got all of the random bits and bobs toiletries wise that I've put into a little plastic Ziploc. So when I get things from eBay for my crafting and things like that, I often get Ziploc bags and I save them all, and I've decided to use them in the hospital bag so that everything is together, because my husband is going to have to be rooting through this bag and be able to find things. So everything is in here in a plastic Ziploc with a sticker that can be peeled off so I can reuse these Ziplocs again later, with a label telling him what's in each bag so that he can find things, because he doesn't know what half the stuff is. Postpartum care for mum, baby stuff. He doesn't know what any of this is called, so I'm going to have to tell him what I want and he's going to have to go and find it. So I've just labelled everything so that he can find it. So in here I've got like hair ties, a toothbrush and toothpaste for my partner and I to share. We have ours here, but so that we don't have to pack them on the day, I've got one toothbrush and toothpaste in here that we can share on the day. I've also got some little sachets of hair and body wash that you get in hotels. So I've got a few of those that my husband can use to wash his hair and body and that I can use after the birth. I've also got a sleep mask that I sewed in a previous video. I will try and link that above here, so that if there's loads of lights and flashing things in the hospital room and I need to sleep, that I can, or during labour if I want to zone out and there's all too much going on around, then I can put that on. I just figured it seemed like a good thing to take, so that's in there. Next up, I've got a giant t-shirt type nightie to actually labour and give birth in. So again, this is in the Ziploc bag and it's got a little label on that says labour nightie, just so that the midwife or my husband or whoever needs to find the item for me can just go and fish it out and find the thing we're looking for. So this is what I'm actually going to put on when we get to the hospital, and I'm going to wear it for however long it takes to get the baby out. And it's something that's really big and roomy, and that will cover me up completely because it's really long, and that it doesn't matter if it gets a bit disgusting, and it can, go in the wash or whatever when it comes home. And if it's stained and things, then I'll harvest the rest of the fabric that's not stained and use it for another project, because Jersey and me, we've got lots of things. If you saw in one of my previous videos, I made a whole load of Jersey knit fabric, cloth baby wipes for use, reusable cloth baby wipes. So there'll be a use for it even if it gets ruined. But that's what I'm going to wear to labour in. Next, I've got my compression socks. So for Mother's Day, James bought me from him and the Bump some packs of nicer compression socks. So I have to wear compression socks 24/7, partly due to the high risk of blood clots in my family, and with me being mostly immobile, there's an even higher risk for me, but also because of this POTS thing, this diagnosis, they also recommend wearing compression socks. So James managed to find me some that have got little things on. So these ones are hot pink and white stripes with navy blue with these cute little pink llamas all over them. So those are the compression socks I want to take to the hospital to wear there. And I've also got a pair of warm comfy bed socks that I can put over them if I get cold feet. I haven't been getting cold feet for the last 2 trimester, since the second trimester when I started getting hot. But normally I run so cold and I'm always freezing, so I figured I'd pack some, because once the baby's out I might turn freezing again, I don't know. And all of that is going in my second-hand Cath Kidston nappy bag. So I've got a changing mat in here. There's also a couple of pre-packaged chocolate bars in there for if I need a bit of a sugar boost after labour or during labour. It's one of the things that I find when I have my attacks that helps to sort of bring me around afterwards is chocolate, or really any sugar, but chocolate in particular. In Harry Potter they say about taking it for shock. I think it's something like that, I'm not sure. But when I have my attacks and it looks like I've had a stroke, basically it's a lack of oxygen going to the brain, so it's very much like a stroke, but it's very temporary, so it doesn't cause the same damage that a stroke would. But afterwards I can be really brain fogged, I can be really out of it, I can be really tired, and so I've got quite a lot of sugar things in this hospital bag to try and bring me around if that happens, because exertion is one of the things that tends to make it happen, and they don't call it labour for no reason, so the chances of me going into an attack during labour are, I think, quite high, which I'm not so sure about. So next up we've got a towel for my partner. Then I've got in this bag the postpartum pants that I made. So these are my cloth reusable maternity pants with the inserts. I'll link that video above. This is what I was going to use for postpartum bleeding, but this is a cloth reusable, so I'm probably going to have to leave this at home and take disposables with me because of this pandemic. So this may end up being taken out of the hospital bag, and I'll just use it when I get home. Next up, I've got cloth reusable maternity pads. So these are essentially the sanitary pads that I use for my normal monthlies, but I've decided to pack these as they would be useful in the same situation for postpartum bleeding. Again, these are cloth reusables, and I've been told not to take these to the hospital during this pandemic, so I think these are going to stay at home and wait to be used until I get back from the hospital. Next up, I'd packed wet bags. These were for all the cloth things that I was going to be using at the hospital. We have, cloth reusable everything, but as I'm not going to be taking those, this is going to have to come out of the hospital bag. So next up, I've got some disposable breast pads. So I got a box of these so they were second hand, they were from the swap shop. I've probably talked about this previously in the nursery tour video, but I have been going to this swap shop that's held locally. The lady that runs it, she takes donations from the women that turn up, so you can take along whatever baby things you have from 0 to 14 years, so older kids' clothes and things as well, but it's any baby thing, so it's you can get second-hand breast pumps, second-hand Moses baskets, second-hand baby baths, toys, books and clothing for children of all ages 0 to 14. So she had been given a box of disposable breast pads, and so she was able to give me those. So I've put a bunch of those in to take to the hospital, and the rest of that box will then be donated back to probably the swap shop or to one of the other groups once I get home, and I can start using the cloth ones that I made in a previous video. I'll link that video up above as well. Next, I've got a pack of large pants. So I'm still just about managing to wear my normal pants, although they've ripped at the side seams on quite a few of them now that I'm so massive. But I've got some large pants that I can start using after I've given birth, and that I'll be able to use in conjunction with my maternity pads and things. I wanted to keep these clean and in the packet and ready to go in the hospital bag so that they're ready on the day, because if I start using them now, they'll be in the wash bin and we'll be needing to go to the hospital. So I'm just managing with my tiny pants for the moment. I then got my nursing cover infinity scarf. So this is just a big jersey t-shirt fabric type infinity scarf that's really wide and that you can open up and use to cover yourself and baby. My sister, when she gave birth in the ward after she'd given birth, when they were all in their beds and things, and she was trying to feed her baby, she got some really nasty comments from some of the nurses and things, because she couldn't get up to go and do the curtains and things. She was stuck in the bed and she was trying to nurse her baby, and they were having a go at her because there were other people on the ward, all other mothers who'd just given birth, so you'd assume that it would be a fine place to nurse your baby, but apparently there's still a lot of stigma around nursing babies. So I thought I'd better pack this, even though I probably won't be on a ward, because obviously James will be there as my carer, so I'll probably be on a side room somewhere because of my mobility issues and things. So I might not need it, but I'm going to pack it anyway. I've then got a selection of tank tops which I can wear as my sort of pajama tops, and a longer sleeved top for when I come home. These are all stretchy jersey fabrics, so no matter what size or condition I'm in, and you know, if I'm sore or I've had a C-section or anything like that, they're all sort of loose-fitting, stretchy items that I should be able to wear. So they're sort of my pyjamas and going home clothes. I then got my Pajama Bottoms. These are 2 sizes bigger than I was when I got pregnant, but a size smaller than I'm currently wearing, so they are all cleaned and ready to go, and I don't need them at the moment, but they should fit me, even if I'm only slightly smaller than I am now, down to you know, if I go down very much in size, then they should still fit me. So hopefully they'll work, and they won't be too tight around. They've got a high waistband anyway, but they won't be too tight around if I do end up having an emergency cesarean or anything like that, and they're not too tight down below or anything, so hopefully they should be good. So then I've got these stretchy leggings with a really high elasticated waistband. They're inside out, but these are basically just workout tights, but I got them because of this massive waistband on, so they don't dig in with a little tiny bit of elastic that's trying to do a lot anywhere on the stomach. They're just really soft and stretchy, and should fit me nice and loosely for when I need to come home. So these are my coming home trousers. I then got a jumper because I'm usually freezing. The last little bit of this pregnancy I've been really hot, but normally I'm so freezing, so I don't know what I'm going to be like immediately after giving birth. I might go back to being freezing, so again I've packed a big woolly jumper to wear on the way home from the hospital. We've then got packets of crisps, packets of biscuits, and some sort of pot noodle type things, or Aldi's equivalent of pot noodles, which my husband should be able to eat. Apparently the midwives can still bring you cups of tea and things, so they should be able to bring him some hot water in order to make these, even though he's not a patient. Therefore he should actually be able to eat something more substantial than a packet of crisps during that time. So I'm also going to try and get some of the little pots of instant porridge, which I thought would be another thing that, you know, they could just bring him some hot water and he could make himself some instant porridge, so he's got something more substantial to eat other than just snacks from the vending machines during the time that we're sort of stuck there on the ward. So these aren't zero waste, but needs must. I then got my husband's spare change of clothes and underwear and everything ready for him, so he'll wear whatever he's wearing at the time to the hospital, and then he'll have a clean change of clothes. So that's all the stuff that we have for me and my partner, and next we have the stuff for the baby. So next up I have my baby carrier. So this is for me to carry the baby in on my body when we need to walk from the hospital to the car, and to put the baby in the car seat. So the car seat that we've got is one that stays in the car all the time. It's a 0 to 7 years car seat, which my partner's parents bought for us very kindly for Christmas. I need to keep my hands free and not be carrying the baby in my arms, or, you know, in a carrier that you hold in your hand, because I need my hands free to use my mobility aids, and should I fall, I'll need my hands free to grab onto something or to stop the fall or whatever. If I'm holding the baby in my arms, the chances are I will drop the baby as well as falling, so better to have them on my body, and I'll be able to turn my body when I'm falling and not fall on the baby, and keep them protected if I do actually fall, but I'll be much less likely to fall if I've got my arms free. And this is advice that I've got from other disabled mums who've got similar balance and falling problems to myself. So I've got a bunch of different styles of carrier. This one is a sort of more structured carrier with a waist bump thing and all of the shebang. I've also got a Moby style sort of long strip of jersey that you can wrap around and do different wraps with. And I'm also being sent a second-hand ring sling in the post by a friend of mine who has finished with it, and she's going to send me that. So I'll have a few different styles of carrier to try out. They usually have someone who comes from the hospital who can show you how to use the slings and carriers and things at the hospital before you come home, but they're not operating at the moment because of the virus. So they are doing like telephone consultations and things, so they'll be able to show us how to use it most effectively. But as we're only going to need to carry the baby from the hospital to the car and put them in the car seat and then carry them into the house, first of all, I've watched some video tutorials and things, so I've got a basic idea, and then once we've actually got a baby to practice with, we'll do the consultation with her, and we'll go through and we'll work out which carriers are best for us and get the correct sort of M shape or J shape or whatever, so that we're safely carrying the baby. Next, I've got some nappy bags. So these are plastic bags that you put the disposable nappies in before putting them in the bin in public places. I actually gave these to a friend of mine in a cloth sort of bag that folded up, that turned into a changing mat, that I sewed for her when she had her baby, and she never ended up using them, so they were tucked in one of the pockets of this. And when she gave this cloth changing mat back to me, there they were. So these should come in handy when we're having to use disposable nappies at the hospital for the first, however many hours until we come home. So I've got some. Again, whatever I don't use, I will donate to another mum who is using disposables, so that they get used by someone who would otherwise be buying them anyway. Next, I have a pack of disposable newborn nappies. So these ones I actually got free in my bounty pack. So there's 24 of them. They're newborn size, so £4 to £11, so that should cover whatever size he comes out at. At the moment he's trending about more than £6.5. That was last week, so he's definitely going to be somewhere within this range. Next, I've got 2 packs of cotton rounds. So we're going to be using cloth reusable baby wipes when we get home, but they recommend using cotton wool and water for the first week or so anyway. But I need to use disposables because of this virus. And these cotton rounds, we actually bought these many years ago before we went zero waste and everything. And then I made cotton rounds out of a pair of old pajama bottoms. I'll link that video above. And so I never ended up opening these packets of cotton rounds because I switched over to using the reusable. So these just sat in the cupboard for years. And so now they're going to go to the hospital and be used on baby as the first sort of baby wipe type thing that we use on the baby. Next, I've got my Jersey Moby Wrap baby carrier that I mentioned earlier. This was second hand from a friend of mine. Everything's second hand. So she used this with her babies. They're a bit older now, and she gave this to me, so we're going to try this out as well. I've learned how to do several different styles to wrap the baby on my body in this, so fingers crossed we'll find one of these works for us for carrying the baby to the car. Next, I've got this fabric storage pouch that I sewed, and inside this I've got the blanket that I crocheted for the baby. So this was before I knew the gender. I decided to do everything in white, pink and blue because it could work for either gender then. So I've got this blanket that I crocheted for him, and this sleep bag that I sewed as well. So they recommend in the UK that babies sleep in one of these sleep bags where they sort of wear it over their shoulders and things, so that they can't, their head can't go down under the blanket, so that they can't suffocate. So we don't actually get recommended swaddling in this country. It took me quite a bit of research to find out why, and I don't think the reasons are very sound. But every other countries that videos like this that I watch, everyone's always talking about swaddles and swaddle blankets, and it's never mentioned here. Like, never. So in all the advice things you get about safe sleeping and what things you'll need as baby essentials and what things you should buy and all the rest of it, swaddles are never mentioned, and I thought that was very strange. So I looked into it a bit, and it's all a bit odd. But basically, there was one paper written once from one paediatrician who specialised in bone structure defects and things, who believed he had noticed an increase in hip dysplasia in babies who were swaddled. That was it. There was no like medical research done or anything like this, but because he had this theory, they stopped recommending across the board to all women in the UK to swaddle their babies. So I thought that was a bit odd. But if you look at things from Canada and from the US and from Australia and New Zealand and other English-speaking countries, the advice that's given is basically swaddle the baby's arms tight, leave the hip area and everything looser, and then there will be no risk of hip dysplasia or anything like that. So I think, don't take the fact that the UK's gone off swaddling as any kind of indication that you need to. It's just something that I found very weird, so I thought I'd mention it. But I haven't got any swaddles or swaddle blankets because it's just not something that's ever discussed or mentioned, and I didn't realise it was even something that I might consider doing. So I've just got blankets and sleep bags. Next up, I've got two choices for the baby's coming home outfit. So the going home outfit number 2, which is the least favourite of the two options, is the newborn small size. I actually made this green sort of dungaree romper thing, and the little green cardigan, and this little white vest, and a white long sleeved sleep suit, some socks, mittens, and a little hat. This one's just in the small size in case he is smaller than I expect, and the other one is in the 0 to 3 months. So this is my preferred outfit because it's really cute. This one's also really cute, but this is still my favourite. So if he's small, I've got an outfit for him. If he's a bit bigger, which I expect he will be, I've got this outfit. So this is a set of blue and white checkered dungarees with a sort of white band of shirring across here, with 2 little embroidered sea lions with balls on their noses, and it's got a little white Peter Pan collared baby vest underneath with a blue edging on the Peter Pan collar, and it's just so adorable and so proper baby. I think there's a tendency to put boys in small men's clothes, which I find really weird. I don't know about anyone else, but little lumberjack shirts and little jeans, and the same things that my husband wears, but like in miniature, and it's like, he's a baby. Put him in baby clothes. Little girls get all sort of bows and dresses, and it's all very cutesy and little girlsy, and little boys are just little tiny men. And I find that very surreal. So what I like about this outfit is that it's a proper sort of vintage, old school baby outfit. I really wanted to make a white sort of lace ruffled bonnet to go with it, but I haven't had time to do that yet. So I've got a little pair of knitted blue booties, socks, scratch mitts, a little hat that's white with blue stars on, and a little navy blue jumper to go with it. The other one's got a jumper as well, just in case it's chilly, for taking him home in the car. And then I've also packed 2 sleep suits. So all of these clothing items I've either made, been given, other people have made, or I have got them second hand. So either from friends who've had kids and have donated to me items that were for boys or gender neutral, or from the swap shop. So I haven't actually paid for really any baby clothes. I bought that one navy blue jumper. I think that's the only item of baby clothing I've actually bought. Oh, and some socks. But apart from that, everything's been secondhand and free. So I've got 2 sleep suits for him to wear. There's also that white one in the other one, so a couple of things for him to wear in the hospital. I don't know how long we'll be in there for with him once he's born, so they're trying to get everyone out within 6 hours as quickly as possible because of the virus, so we probably won't be there for that long, but if there's any complications you can end up being there for ages, so I figured I'd take some stuff. And in the stuff that I've chosen, one of the items is always in the small newborn size and the others are all in the 0 to 3 months, so I think he's going to be larger. He's measuring larger, but should he end up coming out small or coming really quite soon, then I've still got something that should fit him in my hospital bag. I then got 4 little of the vests, so the short sleeved, short legged onesies. Again, some are in newborn and some are in 0 to 3 months. And there's more in each of the outfits, but these are just spares for during the hospital stay. And then I've got 3 muslins for burp cloths and wrapping up and all sorts of uses that muslins have, wiping up any kind of muckiness, drool, dribble, breast milk, whatever's going on. So I've packed 3 of those. So I got some muslins new. I got some Primark vouchers for my maternity, so I ended up getting some Disney muslins. So I got a pack that was all Disney Dumbo and a pack that was all Disney Winnie the Pooh. So I've got some of those, and then I also got a whole bunch of blue and white plain muslins from the swap shop. So all of this stuff has all been washed, it's all been dried, it's all been packed up, ready to go, and it's all labelled so that my husband knows, because I don't think he'd know the difference between, you know, a sleep suit and a vest or a muslin, anything. So it's all labelled, ready to go for him. So the other thing that will go into my hospital bag are my medical notes. So at the moment I'm still working on my medical notes. I've got to put in a whole load of information about my disability, about my health conditions, particularly about the symptoms where it looks like I'm having a stroke, because if I suddenly look like I'm having a stroke halfway through labour and the midwives and nurses and things on the ward don't know about it, they're going to freak out. So I've been warned that I need to put, like, clearly in my medical notes a printed out sheet explaining what's wrong with me and what might happen and why they don't need to panic if that happens, just so that I don't freak them out when I start slurring my words and getting all weird. So yeah, there's a high chance of that happening. So that was a funny conversation between me and the consultant midwife, was trying to work out sort of which things were going to freak people out. Oh well, you just have to laugh. It's just I don't know. My husband will be there and he'll be able to tell them that's normal, it's fine, this is just what's happening. But you know, if he's gone to the bathroom or something, or gone to make himself one of his pot noodles somewhere, or I don't know, it could all just deteriorate into some sort of giant farce where, you know, they're bringing in code teams with a defibrillator and I'm like, I'm fine. It'll all be fine, it'll all be fine. So yeah, I've got to type up some stuff for my medical notes and things, so I'm working on that at the moment, so they'll go into my hospital bag and be taken with us. We'll also try and pack a packed lunch for my husband with some sandwiches or whatever we can forage from the kitchen at the time. Hopefully I'll be in early labour, like for quite a long time, at home calmly before we actually go into the ward to give birth. So I mean, that's usually what happens in my family, is we labour for a long time. I don't know how much of that is early labour and how much of that is active labour, I don't know, but hopefully we'll have some warning that we're about to go into hospital and James can actually prep himself some food and organise himself. But yeah, the car's been cleaned out, he's hoovered it and made it all lovely inside. My rollator, which is my sort of Zimmer frame on wheels with the seat and things that I need to use to get around, that's in the back of his car, ready and waiting to go. The baby seat is all set up, ready and waiting to go. So his car is basically prepped and ready. We've just got these bags to grab and pop in the boot, and we're good to go into hospital. So it's all looking promising. So I have got a pack of disposable Maxi pads for me coming in the post that I've ordered online. I couldn't find in the supermarket before lockdown any of the specific like maternity pads, disposable ones. Anyway, and I decided to make my own cloth ones anyway, but I couldn't find them, and then I thought, I can't send my husband out to look for this if I couldn't even find it, and he's just not going to have a clue. So he won't know the difference between, you know, panty liners and maxi pads and tenor ladies and all the different options. He will not know what any of it is. So I was like, I can't send him to go and get it, he'll get the wrong thing. So I decided to just go online and buy it and have it shipped. So hopefully they'll be here early next week and they can go into the hospital bag. But yeah, unfortunately we're having to go down the disposable route. So once we come home, we've got cloth nappies, we've got cloth baby wipes, we've got cloth maternity pads, we've got cloth nursing pads, we've got all of the sort of reusable zero waste options and things at home. So hopefully it's only for this first sort of 6 hours of the baby's life while we're in the hospital that we'll have to use some disposable. So hopefully we won't actually use that many disposable items during that time, and the stuff that we don't use I can donate to someone who would have used disposables anyway. So hopefully it won't be too big of an impact anyway, the fact that we have to do this, but it is disappointing. So that's it, that's all the stuff that's in my hospital bag. I hope you enjoyed this video. It's going to be a really long video, I'm sorry. And I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.